Recording.
We are recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Dads. It's the
Yeah.
first episode of 2024 after a pretty awesome break. I am one of the hosts. I am Brett,
And I am Aaron.
and we are the Game Daddies.
we evolved to Game Daddies instead of Game Dads.
It's the weekend, so we're daddies.
I feel
It
like
depends
I
on who
feel
we're
like
talking to.
I feel like since this is an award show, I imagine us we're in our imaginary tuxes, so then we evolve into Game Daddies when we're wearing our tuxes.
How do you know I'm not wearing a tux? This ain't a video podcast yet.
Well, yeah, that touche. You might be wearing one, just I don't know because I can't see you. So
I will. I don't know if you can tell by the sound of my voice how nude I am. But I am wearing half of a tux. I'm Winnie the Pooh in this shit. Um, I got tuck shirt on, no bottoms.
yeah. I mean, even if this was visual, it would still be. I mean, at max at this point, it'd be zoom. So as long as you keep the camera facing and up towards your head, no one would know. No one would know.
Everything is standing at attention today, sir. Everything. Um, this is a different episode than what we normally do. These are going to be the 63rd annual Brettley
63rd.
Awards. Yep. You should have been there.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
The last,
Ba-da-ba-ba.
the last 62 have been great. So, but yeah, normally these are things that I would do on Twitter, but I haven't been on Twitter in years. I would do kind of a little note or whatever, just some of the stuff that I've done and hours play, platinums, because I mostly play on PlayStation, that kind of stuff. But since we're doing the podcast now, we're going to blow this stuff up and make make a big deal about it. I think it's gonna be kind of fun. So
I'm totally down, and I got to throw this one little bit in because you mentioned Twitter, so I always got to take my shot. Um, this weekend specifically, there were forced ads that were seen by everyone who owns a Twitter account that were just straight up porn. Because Twitter is just devolving into a cesspool of crap. They literally, some advertiser just started advertising porn, and there's no one there to monitor it. So there was just every Twitter account was just sent porn all weekend.
um, unsolicited porn that you are not expecting is not fun.
Not only are you not expecting it, you can't block it. The only way to get it off your screen is to report each individual ad.
Gosh. Oh man, I'm so glad I got out. I got out pre Elon Musk. So, and I'm not a Musk guy. Not a, I can't get behind that.
If you listen to this
But
podcast for 5 seconds, you know that I'm not a Musk guy. But
I just, I mean, he's an intelligent dude. I mean, I think that's kind of undisputed. I mean, he's incredibly intelligent dude, but at the same time, the most intelligent people on the earth are also sometimes the ones that lack the most common sense. And I don't think that dude he gets it so much that he doesn't get it.
I like.
Does that make sense?
I like it. He annoys me for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
Because he is so close. Like you just said, he's so close to the point. The thing that he's trying to get, the love that he wants, he's so close. He with the amount of money and the amount of influence and reach he has, he could just like that be the coolest person on earth. But he
Yeah.
just
Oh,
isn't, and he will never be.
I think for a while he was like, we're not going to get political on this show, but for the longest time, based off of his some of his ideals on environmentalism,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean he's an environmentalist, and the whole idea behind Tesla and the electric car and stuff is to cut down on our carbon footprint. And that's great. Like for the longest time, I mean, he was really accepted by the left until he
He,
started talking more.
yeah,
And
I mean,
not saying that the left is right, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the right is right either. I find myself somewhere in the middle of everything, but it's the dark night, dude. You either die a hero or you live long enough, to see yourself become a villain. And
he went from he was in Iron Man 2. He was in Iron Man 2.
well, let's not sit here and say Iron Man 2 is like that's like the bar. You know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
saying that that's like a great accomplishment. I'm just saying like he was in Iron Man 2. Like in Iron Man 2, he walks up to Tony Stark and Tony Stark's like, "Oh, hey Elon, what's up?" And then he's like, "Oh, hey Tony Stark." Like that's
Well, I mean,
how well he was received at one point.
yeah, he was kind of at one point kind of real life Tony Stark, kind of. But Tony Stark is kind of his own worst enemy in some cases too. So I mean, the parallels are there.
Just like
It's just I highly doubt that the day that a big purple alien is going to come down and snap everybody out of existence. I highly doubt Elon Musk is going to be the one to you know
yeah,
save us.
seeing as how he couldn't manage to organize a fight with fucking Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure he's not going to be the one
Oh my
handling.
god!
And okay, not going to do this. We have way too much to talk about to spend this long on Elon Musk. We just can't do it.
Yeah, dude, I kind of want to get into what we're playing slash doing and stuff. Because, dude, like I've got like we're gonna keep it brief and all that stuff, but like I got some stuff that I've been doing that I've been really excited about. Um, so let's go ahead and transition into that if you're
Yeah,
cool.
I'll let you
Um,
take the floor, boy. Go ahead, let us know what you've been
brother,
playing.
oh man, what I've been, I mean, we took some time off for our break, and I definitely took some time off from work, but I finished Red Dead Redemption, which is I've never done that before. I did it in 6 days. I thought that was pretty cool, so I've checked that one off the list. I beat Chippendale Rescue Rangers,
I saw
which
that.
I beat it 3 times in a row, and I've never beat it before. Um, like, dude, it was a great break. I beat Liza P. I had a little bit left on that. Uh, Gosh, and dude, f the nameless puppet. My gosh. Um, yeah, but like the thing I'm excited about the most though, I finally got my Sonic and Knuckles tattoo.
Yeah.
So that kind of I started. I have not collected video games in a few years. Actually, I gave a good portion of my like PS3 collection to Aaron. I donated a lot of stuff. I sold a lot of stuff. I'm down to bare minimum on a lot of things. I never collected for the Sega Genesis. I had some really good games for it. Like I had like Contra Hardcore. I know that's like pretty. It's not like rare, but it's a valuable game.
Hmm.
I had a few games, but I bought a Sega the other day and opened it up, cleaned it. That's always been kind of a passion of mine, just kind of messing around with like opening up those old consoles and kind of messing around with them. I used to repair PS2s and Xboxes and those kinds of things, but I bought a whole bunch of boxed like clamshell. I do the Genesis, great system first and foremost, but the
Hmm.
way that those like the difference between Nintendo and Sega in my mind from back in the day, your Nintendo stuff, all came in cardboard boxes, kind of like what toys did. So you usually take them out, you throw away the cardboard boxes, or at least that's what like my parents would do because it's a toy, right? Sega games, do they had that like nice hard clamshell,
Uh huh.
and it just looks so good on a shelf. I just bought a whole bunch of Sega games like boxed. So um, I'm not like knee deep in it just yet, but like that's absolutely something I'm going to be doing in 2024. So I thought we could maybe take every once in a while one of the shows kind of go down like, hey, what's Brett up to these days with the Sega stuff? So I think I'm going to start collecting some Sega Genesis stuff, maybe a little bit of Saturn because I never owned it. Maybe some Dreamcast, but I'm going to go down the Sega rabbit hole in 2024, I think.
It's a good place to go. Like I love the idea of now we can like I guess there are a couple systems now that they're absolutely not producing anything new for, but like I like the idea of like collecting like specifically like Sega and specifically Saturn because the Saturn discs have that disc rot thing that I have
Yeah,
really hardcore considered making a having a Sega Saturn collection, and just because I feel like Sega Saturn, I mean, there weren't like it didn't live a long time, so there weren't crazy amount of games, but like I feel like I barely touched like the surface of Sega Saturn's game collection, and I feel like that
yeah,
sucks. I feel like a lot of people barely touch the surface of like they had their you know annual sports titles and their Mortal Kombat's and a couple other things. Sega Saturn had tons of games that no one played.
yeah. And it's a blind spot for me. I jumped from Genesis to Dreamcast, and honestly, I didn't have 32X. I didn't have Sega CD or any of those like interstitials. Um, but like Saturn, that came out famously against the PlayStation, and it was more expensive. They caught retailers off guard by just kind of shadow dropping it in stores,
hmm
and it never really took. So, I mean, like Saturn wasn't on my radar until I think you got it because you guys had a Saturn, right?
Yeah,
Okay, and I think that's about the most I ever played from it was maybe I don't even know what games you guys had. I know we played some fighting games on it, but
yeah. I mean, like I said, ours was Mortal Kombat's and uh, like just like the fighting
Virtua
games,
Fighter,
virtual fighter stuff like that.
yeah. But I don't know, man. I think that would be kind of cool to get into. I guess yeah, man. Again, blind spot for me. I jumped hard into the Dreamcast, and by the time that I got moving with that thing, it was over. So, and I've always kind of been viewed the Xbox as kind of the spiritual successor to this Sega. They worked a little bit with Xbox when Xbox first got moving. They had like Shenmue 2 and um, some of the like I think Crazy Taxi went to Xbox as well. But so I mean the idea is there, I guess,
hmm
but I don't know. I just that's one area that I never got a lot of stuff in. Most of the stuff I played for Sega was through mostly friends.
hmm
Um, so yourself, and then when I first moved to our town, buddy of mine actually next door because you were always friends with your neighbors. He had Sega, and his gosh, dude, they had everything,
hmm
everything. So I bought. So I got Sonic 2. I bought that one off of eBay. That was the first one that I got. So I got a box copy of it. I bought a box copy of Jurassic Park,
Nice
The Lion King, and Street Fighter 2, I think Championship Edition or
championship
something like that.
edition.
But man, Street Fighter on Sega is not great because it's 3-button controller. But
Yeah,
if you got the 6-button, man, it's not too shabby. But, it's very low investment. Great way to kind of start off the collection. I think I'm going to move into some of the more expensive stuff here soon. So I'm looking at you, Contra, and I'm looking at you, Castlevania Bloodlines.
you
What you
gotta
been
get
playing, brother?
Contra. You gotta get it.
Dude, Contra, that's the best Sega game.
I said you gotta
Like
get it, man. You gotta.
that's what I said. That's the best Sega game. Like, dude, like I didn't have very many Sega games. I had like maybe 4 or 5 because by the time I got mine, because I had the Model 2, it was like the flat one. I think my mom got it she got me for me for my birthday. It was cheap though. It was like 96, 97. It was definitely after my parents got divorced. Um, but I had your Sonic 2, I had Sonic 3, um, which that came up in discussion in our house the other day. But I had somehow, some way, Contra Hardcore just appeared in my house one day. I don't know where it came from. I think my dad may have bought it, possibly. I think that's probably
Mhm.
the likeliest story because that's what he and I played quite a bit of. But outside of Sonic, Contra, dude, that is my most played Sega Genesis game.
Mm.
Loved Contra Hardcore. So it's got the big wolf guy. His name's like
Yep.
Wolfie. Oh, dude, so dope, so dope. But I've been going on for a while, dude. What you been playing?
Okay, so I can't remember if I talked about finishing Persona 5 on the last one. I'm pretty sure I did.
You did. Oh yeah, you did. You
Okay.
finished up your new game plus and all that stuff.
Yeah, I finished up my new game plus, and mwah, oh my god! But so I already talked about it, and I'm probably going to mention it later. We'll just go ahead. I also finished Street Fighter 6's story mode, which
Oh, awesome.
it gets so crazy so fast. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but it was the ending of it is crazy. The last couple fights are insane. Like it was it was awesome.
Very cool. I've been looking at maybe buying that one. It's been cheap in some of these PlayStation and Xbox sales, so I'm thinking about picking it up.
And then after I finished that, I was like, I don't want to play something. I need to cool down. So my cooldown obviously is Secret of Mana. So I've been playing Secret of Mana, and that's just really refreshing. Like
Original or remake?
I'm playing the remake. I, it was just the one that I had the easiest access to, so I was like, I'll just play it on PlayStation.
May as well. But dude, that remake is so good.
Yeah,
Um,
they
my
ironed out.
only
Go ahead.
did they get rid of the crashes?
Yeah, I haven't. I remember when I first bought it because I'm a Secret Mana guy. I bought it when it dropped, but like when I first bought it, I remember there being like lots of little random weird crashes. But this time I've been playing it, I have not experienced any weirdness at all. So
Yeah.
I feel like they've ironed some of that stuff out.
The good thing about, I mean, if there is a good thing about the crashes, or at least a bright side of it, I think it auto saves from room to room. So every time you go from one room to the next, it'll auto save.
Hmm.
And so if it did crash, it was just a simple get back into the game. But that was a fun platinum, though, dude. You should go for that.
I honestly I never think about it, but I totally thought about it when I started this. I was like, I looked at
Yeah,
what I still needed to get the platinum, and it's like there's a couple like armor and weapon pieces that I have to get. And I think that's like about it.
I will tell you, dude. I have the platinum secret of mana because, of course, I do. Follow a guide for some of those because some of those drops are missable.
Yeah, that was what I when I was going through my first run. That was what I found out was the reason I didn't get it is because some of those items are some of them are droppable. There when you can go into the lost continent and there's
Mhm.
certain stuff you have to get certain pieces of armor you have to get while you're there and then you can never go back after you finish it so like all that's
Yeah.
if you miss anything in there it's just you've missed it you have to go through another round but I don't know.
Yep.
I mean I might do it just because it's Secret of Mana but
Yeah.
so that and then uh the Epic Game Store has been putting a bunch of like free games up
Hmm.
and I always watch for stuff like that just off rip. So what I looked through my Epic Game Store and I was just like, what have I snatched out of here that I just never looked back at? And I got the entire BioShock collection. Like I looked in my collection of freaking Epic Game Store games that like I never bother with. And like I looked in there
Aaron
and
Michael.
BioShock 1, 2, 3, and Infinite are just sitting in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, what else is in here? And like when I looked at what was for sale today, I was like, that new Guardians of the Galaxy game is for sale today for free. And yes, it is. And I was like, click, I'll take that.
Oh my God.
So like I wish I had it pulled up right now so I could tell you, but like I have like 15 games in there that none I didn't pay for any of them, and like it's all stuff that's like not like recent, but like relatively recent. Like
Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, I would consider that a recent-ish game. That's last couple of years. But
yeah, I
I
mean
mean, you're talking about the, oh gosh, now I can't think of what the Crystal Dynamics
yeah,
one, right? Not Telltale. right?
Now I don't know.
If it's the crystal, I mean, I have platinums in both of them. I mean, no big deal. But that Crystal Dynamics one, dude, is I think I got caught up in the post um, Avengers kind of like negativity or whatever, like the game Avengers.
Mhm.
That game is, if you got that one for free, it's legitimately great. It's
Like
such a good game. Like I
I'm
prefer
pretty
those Guardians to the MCU.
I'm pretty sure it's that one. I'm pretty sure it is, but I don't know
Ooh,
off the top of my head. But like
oh man,
I was just like me and my little like backlog of games is just like it's getting to a point where like I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna ever get to the front of this thing. And then I talked to Andrea and I was like, okay, boo. So like after I finish Secret of Mana, Bloodborne is up next. And I'm gonna need your support for Bloodborne. And he was like,
I can't tell if you're doing all this, like if you're saying all these games just to get a pop out of me, but like, dude, you are like Brett game after Brett game after Brett game.
the first ones I was like, oh, you're gonna love these. But Bloodborne is seriously the next game on my game list. Like I literally I said, you know, I was gonna finish. I was gonna do Street Fighter. I was gonna finish that, and then I was gonna take a cooldown with Secret of Mana, so I can like, you know, readjust. And then I was gonna go and I was just gonna play Bloodborne. And I was like, I'm gonna play it, but like
Yeah.
the issue that I have is like when I'm playing games and I'm playing like by myself all the time, I like it like there's a certain amount of like just struggle I have with it. I just it's draining for me really fast when I'm playing like an oppressive game by myself. So like I was like, Andrea, I need you to like be my like be like my assist and like help me and we're gonna play through this together. And she was like, okay, I'm down because I want to see it. And I'm like, okay. So after I finish Secret of Mana, which I'm about halfway through at this point, we're going into Bloodborne, and
Oh, dude,
I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna get good, and I'm gonna wreck a bunch of bad guys, and I'm gonna finish it. I'm going to play it all the way through.
it's the best 3D Castlevania game. I love it.
I
So good.
really am excited about it though because I want to play it. And like the first, I actually have before. I did a significant run when I was streaming, but like I got into one of those situations where like I had two people who were running around with me, and then once you have people with you, you get a lot weaker because you have help. And then when those people aren't around, you're just like, oh, I'm just getting my butt kicked again because, you know, I fought this boss last time and we barely won with three people. Now I have to fight by myself and I'm nowhere near as good and my weapons aren't strong enough and I'm just getting destroyed. And then, like, so my plan is I'm going to play completely solo. This is going to be me and I'm going to run through the whole thing. So, like, every win is just going to be me by myself winning.
It's awesome. You've got my full and total support. You want to talk about it, dude? We're in it. I got you. Um, oh, I'm excited. And dude, oh god, if you play Bioshock, brother, we are gonna book club that stuff. We are gonna absolutely book club it. I'm in backlog mode myself. I just started. I'm going back through some of the ones from last year, so I'm platinuming. I'm in the middle of Dead Space right now, remake. So
Mhm.
I'm doing that one. But I got some time between now and Final Fantasy Seven Rebirth. You want to book club Bioshock? You can beat that game in a week. Like
That's the thing. That's the thing.
even around our Game Dad stuff.
That's the thing I'm worried about because I I don't know if I gave myself enough time to get through Bloodborne before Final Fantasy comes out.
We got 2 months, dude. You got this.
I play games at a snail's pace though. I'm slow.
You're fine, dude. Even if you, okay, let's say for just for argument's sake, you're playing not Final Fantasy. Oh gosh, Secret of Mana pretty casually. You're going to beat that 40 to 50 hours probably if you're playing casually. Maybe a little bit less, depending. I don't know. It depends on if you go for the platinum or not. You're going to spend about 30 to 40 hours with Bloodborne beating that game, and that's conservative. And that's also like if you grind a little bit, because that's another misconception about like Souls games, Bloodborne, whatever. You can actually there's a couple good grinding spots to make yourself better. There's still skill involved with that game, but you can absolutely steamroll it if you needed to. Like you still need skill, definitely with all that, but you can make yourself stronger. Um, yeah, you can definitely beat that before Final Fantasy, and I have full faith in you, dude. You got this.
All right. Okay, so do you want to do positive and negatives first before we start the awards, or do you want to jump into the awards and then save positives for last? Positives.
Um, let's do a positive first, so it'll be like a truncated regular show, and then we'll get into the 63rd annual Brettley Awards presented by Cialis and the 1996 Chicago Bulls.
Okie doke. So I'll start with my positive. My positive is I have just like I know like I keep using like Dom and Lee as my positive, but I can't help it. But like
Nothing wrong with
Lee has he hit another little milestone, so he's like walking fully now. He's just like roaming all around the house. But like he's got this energy about him that I just love. Like he just like wants to get into everything and he wants to hang out with everybody. And he, if you go into another room, he's like, "Where are you at? What are you doing? What are you doing in here? I want to be in here with you." And then like because Dom is his big sister and he like just idolizes her. I mean, like Dom goes into one room, he's in there following her around, and like you get just hear like them off in Dom's room playing completely like no no prompting. They don't like they're not like everyone talks about, oh, these freaking iPad kids who just like sit on their iPads all day and they don't do anything to interact, and like you can go in and they're playing and making up some little game just to play, and like they don't need us pushing them or making them do it. They don't need us like I don't have to yell at Dom to get off her iPad and go do something. Like sometimes she'll just get up and like I just want to go play, and then she just goes play, and then Lee's like, well, I can walk now, so I'm just going to go with her, and they'll just go off and like have a little adventure completely independent of us without us prompting or doing anything, and I love that.
That's awesome, man. Drake is he'll be 13 here in a couple months, but when he was their age, since he doesn't have any brothers or sisters, like he has a stepsister now through his mom
Mm-hmm.
and her new husband and stuff. But when being an only child, I kind of had to be dad and friend.
Mm-hmm.
So we did quite a lot of stuff together. And I love hearing the stories about Dom and Lee. And I love that they have that dynamic together because I that's one thing I wish Drake could have had. Um, I wouldn't change what I have with him for the world, but I it makes me so happy that Lee is I mean, he's walking, dude. That's incredible because he was last time I saw you guys, he was just starting to kind of get up and take a few
Mm-hmm.
steps, and he was right there,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's up and down the house. He
Yeah,
he can traverse in different rooms. He can kind of open doors, and he has taken his ability to walk and turned it into like his own little independence, and I love that.
yeah, that's awesome, man. Um, you have anything more to say when you're positive?
No, I love my babies. Positive.
I love your babies. They're pretty cool too. Mine's definitely gonna be a lot shorter, but as we wrapped up last year and we're going into this year, I'm very proud of what you and I have accomplished together. Just over the course of life as friends and all that stuff. But having this show has been a huge boon for me. Especially like we talked about earlier, getting rid of Twitter and stuff. You're able to kind of dump your thoughts off a little bit at a time through social media, and people can pick up on that and start conversations that way or whatever. But since I don't have that anymore, I don't get to talk about these things that I have such a passion for. I love video games. I in my spare time, I'm listening to podcasts, not about necessarily news, even though some of that has to do with it. But I studied the history, the art, the development, the music. I love this medium so much, um, and to have this, for lack of a better term, outlet with my best friend has really just been a huge positive, not just for um, what I do in my free time, but just in my overall life. So my positive is Game Dads and my friend Aaron and our shared love for video games and specifically Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Me,
yes,
you, Sonic. That's a good time.
that's what we do. Tails, I mean, he's fine, whatever. But Idris Elba was Knuckles.
Hmm.
That's the sentence. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, yeah. I just,
Um, but yeah, love you, dude. I appreciate this time that we get to spend together.
me too. It was one of my New Year's resolutions was like, I'm just like Game Dads as a whole. Like I don't, I don't have some lofty dreams of what it will become one day. It's just, I hope that this year it continues to happen just like it did last year. That's it.
Yeah, this is kind of a passion project for Aaron and I, and we've been talking about something along these lines for literally years. Um, I think we tried to get something off the ground at one point through like Let's Plays and all that, and other people were involved as well. It just for some reason the stars just didn't align, whatever. But they have now, and I'm a big fan of Better Late Than Never. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like I'm glad that this is happening, and
Absolutely.
um, happy for anybody that wants to come along for the ride. But as we wrap that up, we're going to go ahead and start the award ceremony here.
Yes.
Um, these are the joke being 63rd annual Brettley Awards. This year they're presented unofficially by Cialis and the 1996 Chicago Bulls.
But
Um,
if either of those things want to be to be the presented by, they hit us up and you send me an email.
yeah,
Especially
if
you, Cialis.
well, I'm looking at you, Scotty Pippen, and if Scottie Pippen wants to come and guest spot on this show, we can talk about NBA Jam,
Absolutely.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition,
Hmm.
the remake of NBA Jam on Xbox Live that is now delisted. I want, yeah, Scottie Pippen, give me a shout.
Is this going to be another of the Game Dads celebrity attempts? We have anybody from Scrubs and Scottie Pippen.
That is going to be my New Year's resolution, I think, for 2024. Not just for Game Dads, but for life in general. Um, my name is Brett Alexander Altmiller. I live in Indiana. Scottie Pippen. If you want to talk about video games, specifically NBA Jam, hit me up.
Exactly. There is an email at the bottom of the Game Dads page. Shoot us a message if you want to come and talk about NBA Jam, or if you have any extremely inflammatory statements that you want to say about being part of the 1996 Chicago Bulls. You can air it out here on Game Dads.
Yeah, bring it on. I'm sure, from what I've heard, he's very passionate about Earthworm Jim. Um, anyways, here to present our first award is not Scottie Pippen, but it's my friend Aaron.
Yes,
Um, would you like to talk about and
absolutely.
um, I guess do you want to kind of explain how we got this set up? You're going to go, I'm going to go. We both come up with a few topics, um, different awards that we'd like to give out. So Aaron's going to present his award, and then I'll present mine, so on and so forth.
Yep.
We both have picked a personal game of the year, and we also have an overall game of the year with some honorable mentions.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess with that, I apologize, dude. I'm on my third cup of coffee for the day. I am hyper. I'm ready to flip a go. Um,
It is all
please,
good.
please, my friend, present the
Uh,
first award.
all right. So the first award is the most well placed swearing in a video game, and that award goes to Clive from Final Fantasy 16 because
Woo!
these guys were killing it with the swearing. Like, I feel like that you either get characters who never swear, or you get characters who swear religiously so much that it's just like, you know, casual conversation for them. They just throw an F bomb in wherever, they have two separate words where they could put an F bomb in the middle of them. But
Look at
Clive,
you for spoken.
but Clive was so deliberate about when he cussed. Like, just like go back into that game and like listen to the dialogue. He doesn't cuss all the time, but when he does, it is poignant, it is important, and it is like you feel it every time. Like, and like, I don't know if it's just a translating thing because like I feel like JRPGs specifically, but any Japanese game really, they don't really like throw out swears very often, especially in comparison to American games where, when people get the opportunity, they F bomb, F bomb, F bomb, F bomb, or whatever, however they're feeling at that moment. But all of his swears are so on point, like you know it, you feel it when he cusses. So,
God bless Ben Star.
yeah. So, without further ado, I present the most well placed swear word to Clive from Final Fantasy 16.
The first Brettley of 2024. Wow, that's awesome, man. I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's such a good one. All right, the second Brettley Award, um, the best game from 2013 that I replayed in 2023 award. That game is going to go to BioShock Infinite. Um,
Woo-hoo!
not only does the gameplay for that game hold up, like, dude, I think the topics um, that come up in that game, just like the way that Ken Levine kind of weaved that story of just like everything from like poverty to class and racism and religious like extremisms, that kind of stuff. Um, I think that game would be like it may be controversial now, um, but I think that it would open up a lot of like very intelligent discussions. Um, dude, that game is so stinking good. Like it holds up so well. I think that if you were to re-release that with maybe a couple visual upgrades and all that good stuff, I think it could easily be in contention for game of the year at the Keeleys. Um, but yeah, I think that game didn't get the um, recognition that it necessarily deserved. I think some people did back in 2013, but it quickly got overshadowed by Grand Theft Auto 5 and The Last of Us, which crazily enough all released a little over 10 years ago. Um, one
Wow.
of which is still being sold today. Um, like Last of Us and Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, GTA 5 still in the top tens and all that stuff sold, but I think that even still, with as good as those games are and all that, I think that because those games are being re-released now too, I think Bioshock Infinite would still hold up in 2024. But yeah, that's my second Brettley award, or I guess my first overall
Woo!
second.
All right. So I give this award for a very specific reason. You know, I play a lot of games that are story based, and once you get into a story based game, you always run into a the story based game usually is gonna somewhere there's a couple that they're hinting at, they're nudging towards, oh, will they, won't they, will they, and JRPGs are criminal for hinting heavily at a character's relationship, but never outright saying it. I give Shion and Alfred from Tales of Arise the award for best couple because the end of the game they actually get married. Like
So
it's not
spoilers.
sorry, spoilers. That is spoilers. But if you play the game, it's not really. But spoilers for Tales of Arise, but they actually get married. Like it's
Yeah,
not like heavily implied. There isn't a scene that's shown afterward where a small child runs out and then you see the two characters. No, you actually see them get married.
that's awesome. I have that game downloaded on my PlayStation right now, and it's gonna be something I play this year.
It's like they are compatible as a couple. They their relationships evolves over the entire game to the point at the end towards the end of the game they basically are a couple. Then when the game ends, they get married. No BS. No, oh, will they, won't they? No sly smile at the end of the game. No, these two characters catch each other's eyes, or no, he decides to stop being a dream, and then she goes on a mystical quest, and then at the end of the mystical quest, they hug a little. They just get married. They just get married. Best couple. Best 10 out of 10.
That's awesome. I saw that you had put that on the document, and that's what prompted me to re-download it. So it's in the queue.
We're both just gonna have 2024, we're both just going to be frantically playing games because we keep
Yeah,
committing to so much on this podcast.
yeah. But hey, at least we're spending our time wisely.
I have not, none of the suggested games that either of us have said, I've been like, okay, you can play that? All right. I've been like, yeah, sounds like fun.
All right. So the next award, and I'm not going to do this with any of my other awards, but I'm going to have a runner-up as well, because this one it's video game adjacent.
Mhm.
Um, it's the award for best television show I watched this year, and that award will go to The Last of Us from HBO.
Hell yeah.
The runner-up, and this is no jokes here or anything like that, but God, dude, Twisted Metal was so good.
Hell yeah.
Um, that if it wasn't for one episode in particular, I'll talk about it. It would have been Twisted Metal, but The Last of Us was absolutely incredible. I watched a lot of television in 2023, like more than I ever have, like from show to show to show to show. And I'm not going to discuss them all here because like I want to honor The Last of Us. Um, I love the game. I love the game so much. I know just I've been a Naughty Dog fan, not since Crash Bandicoot, honestly, because I hate Crash Bandicoot. Just not a fun game. But since Jack and Daxter, and I followed them through every game they've done since. The Last of Us is one of the most complex and unique games that I've probably ever played. Um, especially because I love Resident Evil so much, and I mean they're definitely completely different genres. But we were all very skeptical when The Last of Us was announced, um, at least until we found out that HBO would be the ones running the show. I think if Last of Us had gone to any other network, I don't think that it would have been handled with the same sort of care and prestige that HBO gave it. Uh, but the one thing that, well, I guess first I should really say, like, Pedro Pascal is my favorite interpretation of Joel Miller.
Crushed it.
Even
Crushed it.
even dude, for real, like Troy
Crushed it.
Baker. I mean, no, this is no disrespect to Troy Baker at all, because I mean, he, in his performance in the Last of Us video game, just absolutely incredible. But dude, Pedro Pascal, um, oh my god, dude, so good. Um, but honestly, the episode that really set me over the edge, and I will not, there are not going to be any spoilers here at all. But the episode 3, long, long time. Bill is not a character that got a huge fleshed out backstory. In fact, the episode is, it expounds on a random note that you find within The Last of Us. Um, I have, I'm not going to sit here and say that I get emotional at everything, but um, my wife and I, Allie, we watched it in bed one night. We were catching up on The Last of Us. We normally watch it on the main television that we have in our den area, with 65-inch OLED, beautiful television. But we were tired, so we watched it in bed that night. And I don't think that either of us have ever cried so hard at a episode of television. Not because it was sad, but just because it was beautiful.
Yes, yes.
And
That is just popping in for a second. That is the thing that makes it amazing. Is
yeah,
TV can do sad, TV can do happy, but it is a different story when you watch beautiful. TV does not do beautiful very often.
yeah, it's the best love story I've ever seen in my life. Like, um, I'm not, again, no spoilers or anything like that. I will not do it, because I feel like if you're gonna watch it, please don't read, or even though like most of the stuff on the internet about that episode is good, there's a little bit of bad takes on that. So, um, but it's just, it was beautiful. The show overall, though, just, it took a very basic story and fleshed it out and made those characters so much more. So, um, I I can't believe that it exists. So that is the Brettley for best television show I watched.
Yep, absolutely. Just gonna go into mine. I'm not gonna start a rant up, but like literally, as people do with TV, there's like people will say, Breaking Bad is like the best TV show ever.
I'm in there.
People are very hardcore about it.
Yeah, I
There are a
agree.
couple others that make
I
that
do think it
list.
is.
There are a couple others that make that list pretty regularly. I give it another year, and I wouldn't be surprised if The Last of Us starts breaking into that top 5.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I don't think that people are ready for what's getting ready to happen in season 2. If I know they've pivoted a little bit, and Neil Druckmann he's a wizard, like just a storytelling wizard. People do People were so mad about The Last of Us Part 2 that, and I totally agree with people being toxic. I think that was one of the most toxic things I've ever seen in my life. Um, but that game got that sort of reaction out of people. Like, it pulled that level, because I'm not going to say that those people didn't care, and it was wrong for them to do so, but it got those people to care so much that they got legitimately physically angry over what happens to characters within this video game universe. And if The Last of Us Part 2 comes out and hits the same way that the video game did, or in the case of The Last of Us television show, elevates that, people are going to flip out. And I agree with you, dude. That'll be in the same conversation as stuff like Breaking Bad.
Yeah. All right. So the next award is going to be for the best open world anything. It literally we've had so many different genres of open world games that have dropped recently. Freaking technically, if you want to be real technical about it, uh, Street Fighter Six is an open world has an open world RPG within its fighting game mechanic. Not gonna go into it, but when you look at all of these games and all of the stuff they've managed to do, they filling out these crazy populated open worlds and making the game feel good and feel lived in and feel open and all of that stuff. Then you look at Tears of the Kingdom. That game is so okay. It's so big. It's so lived in. It's so like expansive. It's so the physics are so on point. Everything in the game works exactly the way that the developers intended it to work, to the point where the developers finished making the game and then they were like, let's take another year just to make sure everything's as polished as it could possibly be, like good developers. And Nintendo, being a good publisher, allowed that to happen instead of rushing the game out for reasons that no one truly understands besides just money. But anyways, I my favorite Let's Players were playing the game, and I watched Andrea play the game because Andrea loves her some Breath of the Wild, and she loved Tears of the Kingdom, and she was like, Tears of the Kingdom, best game. So she played the crap out of it. So I watched my wife fight Ganon at the end of the game, and then I watched them fight Ganon at the end of the game, and the two fights were so completely different that it almost felt like it was a different game. Same boss, same world, same place, but the experience that they had playing the game and the experience my wife had playing the game were so different that when they got to the end, it almost seemed like two different games. It almost seemed like two different boss fights.
Mm.
Like Andrea, she's like when she gets into a game, she's thorough. So she has, max hearts. She has, the strongest armor, the strongest weapons. She's got her all of her food prepared and all of the food that she needs to whenever her hearts get corrupted that she can undo the corruption. All that stuff. She has everything. So she goes in and she fights Ganon, and she was like, "This was too easy." Then the Let's Players that I watch, because they're Let's Playing and trying to like, not doing every single thing in the game, just trying to, play and get to the end. When he got to the end, he has 12 hearts, maybe. Like, nothing to undo corruption, a couple of random food items, and like, he is getting absolutely annihilated by Ganon. Like, it had to have, from what I remember seeing, it had to have been 7 or 8 losses, and then he had to like stop and then like go fill up on food and I'll get all kinds of extra stuff and then come back and fight him again. And it still was not like a knockdown drag out. It was like he really had to like fight and struggle to beat him. Andrea was like, "This is too easy. I want a harder boss." Like the fact that the same game can produce these results and like characters look completely different because they have different armor and weapons, like techniques were different. Like it was so, and like every person who I have talked to who plays that game has a different like story about it, like how they had a different experience. And it's like to make one game that is this vastly different among people playing it is just crazy to me.
That's awesome. Are you there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, very cool. Pregnant pause. I love it, dude. I still haven't played it.
I
Like
I
what?
haven't
Not
played Breath
that,
of the
but
Wild, so
oh, I gotcha. Well, I should say I have played it, but I played maybe an hour of it, and I could not. I think I've I don't know. It's passed me by, but it's incredible, dude. Like I watch my son play that and just get so obsessed with it. That's awesome, dude. Glad to see Zelda getting some flowers on this show.
yeah. I have I haven't even played it, and I have no problem saying it's the best open world game that came out this year.
All right. So the next game award is the best musical number in a video game, and that award goes to The Herald of Darkness, as performed by Alan Wake, Mr. Door, Alex Casey, and the Old Gods of Asgard in Alan Wake 2. Um, I am not going to spoil the middle of the game or anything like that. I think Alan Wake 2 is just it's one of my favorite games of the year, anyways. But Remedy's really leaned into their sort of quirkiness, weirdness over the last few years. Max Payne had a little bit of it, but the combination of Alan Wake and Quantum Break and Control, they they created this universe that's both serious and sort of goofy and meta and all kinds of neat stuff. In the middle of that game, there's a kind of a recap of Alan Wake's story over the last couple of games and where he's been. And Alan Wake 2 it was kind of touted as a survival horror style game. Whereas the first one was more of like a thriller sort of mystery action game. Um, but it takes a goofy sort of look at the last um, 13 years of Alan being stuck in the dark place, and it turns into a musical talk show slash rock opera
All right.
that needs to be experienced to be actually appreciated. Um, so that's where I'm going to end that one. But I've never seen anything like it before, and probably will not see anything like it again until the next Remedy game, which is probably going to be Control 2. So I will buy anything and everything that Remedy does going forward.
All right. That's a glowing endorsement if I ever heard one.
BA seal of approval.
All right. So the next award is an award that I'm going to grant you guys with one of the most insane things that I've played this year, which I really love that Capcom stepped out of the box for this one because they did it in a beautiful way. So let me get into it. So the award is the best campaign in a fighting game, and it goes to Street Fighter 6. And the thing about the campaign in Street Fighter 6 is it's an open world RPG. It is just it's not playing around about it. It's not like, oh, well, we added some open world elements so that you could, march down the line of Street Fighter characters to like do an RPG. No, it is there are random battles, there are custom characters who only exist within this game, within this portion of the game. There's multiple characters who are characters who only exist in this version part of the game, like they're not Street Fighter characters. Like you fight them, you level up, you got to buy equipment to as like armor. You have items, you have all kinds of stuff, and then you as your custom character, you can you know make up any of the actual Street Fighter characters can be your master, and then as long as it doesn't conflict with another move that has the same button combinations, you can like learn any of the Street Fighter characters' moves and equip any of them to your custom character.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
So now the part about this that like changes the game up and makes it like the most impressive thing I've seen in a fighting game story mode is like in order to buy your items and buy your armor and all that stuff, you need money. So like your side jobs you can like pick up in the game are actually tiny mini games that help you get the button combinations to do super moves for characters. Like there's like a one where you have to like break blocks of like in like a karate dojo, and it's like you have to hold down and then press up and then press a button. But like you have to do it with the timing that like a holding back and forward like attack would be in Street Fighter.
Oh, please tell me you beat up a car.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a car beat up level. Absolutely.
Oh,
That's
dude.
definitely in there. No questions asked. Yes, absolutely. But like,
Oh, dude.
there's other games where like you have to do Hadoukens and then like backwards Hadoukens and Shoryukens and like the mini games they set up in the game are deliberately created to help you get a feel for how Street Fighter super moves are done. So like
But it's teaching you at the same time. That's
yeah,
awesome.
so it's teaching you while you're doing it to get money, and it's like the perfect and like then they even added in like characters have like moments after their attacks, some random attacks they do that like they're super vulnerable, but what they're trying to point out to you is like after a character does an attack that looks like this, in this frame they can't block. So like in the game mode, like the person like flashes for a second in that frame where they can't block. But like if you take that to actual Street Fighter, there are frames where like after Zangief does a big grab, there's a second or two where he can't block. And if you attack him during that moment, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like the game, it's designed specifically to make you better at the game in this giant RPG that they created around the like that concept. It's insanely well done. The people who like created this really took their time to like make something new and unique. And like Street Fighter gets this award, and nobody's going to argue with me about it.
That's awesome. I am putting that into my cart currently, and I'm going to buy that today.
It it is nuts. Like I'm so impressed with the way that they like integrate all of these things into the game and like made this little story around it. But like it is actually the Street Fighter story, which is also insane because it's like it's explaining what happens and where JP comes from and why he, like what about him is so super evil. And by the time you get to the end of the game, JP is freaking evil, and by the time you get to the end of the game, you're like, this motherfucker has to die. Like, we gotta take him down because he's evil. He's Bison level evil.
Is Seth in the game?
Mm-mm. No, I don't think I remember Seth anywhere.
Okay.
But I mean, got Guile, so
Um. All right. Was
that is
that
it.
good?
That is it.
Right
I
on.
mean, I'm sure there's some other good campaigns out there. I mean, Street Fighter One came out, but there were not Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat One came out, but I'm giving it to Street Fighter. Like,
Right on. You've been the king of pregnant pauses today, dude. So
no,
I didn't want to cut you off.
my bad. I will.
No, don't apologize, dude. You are the king of it. I love a good pregnant pause.
All right, your move.
That was my pregnant pause. That was
Oh,
gonna be the joke.
I know, and I'm like, you're gonna call me out, then I'm gonna call you out when you do yours.
That is actually a great transition into the next Brettley Award. I'll get to it when I feel like an award. I bought some. Okay. Yeah, another pregnant pause. I'm not going to keep doing that.
I was just gonna let it hang
I
this time.
Dude, one of these days, you and I are going to be in real sync with that, and we're going to do it to the point where people just turn it off because they think it's broken. Um, so I bought Cyberpunk 2077 after it came back to PlayStation Network a couple years back, but like apparently it wasn't in a great state, so they like PlayStation just they've never done that before. They just removed it. Um, so I bought it. It was on sale, and I kind of just let it sit for a little while because I it was in my backlog. I had some other stuff I was playing, and I think they were patching it too. So it, like they were consistently making it better. And I guess for reference too, like I used to play on a PS4 Pro, so it may have run okay on there as opposed to like a basic PS4. But I had a little bit of a gap this year between RE4 and Final Fantasy 16. So when I loaded it up over the summer, dude, I was just obsessed with it. Johnny Silverhand was my choom. Judy Alvarez was my love interest. Pan Am, my ride or die, and Night City was my playground, dude. Um, the characters are great. Phantom Liberty just came out, so that's another reason why I went back to it. Idris Elba is phenomenal in that game. Um, I think it's the most interesting open world game I've ever played. Night City is just it's really awesome. It's funny. It's gross. It's stylish. Um, it's the best parts about the Matrix and Blade Runner. Um, it's just phenomenal, dude. I've got written here too. Just I had to check my notes on this one because I think I went more in depth with this one than I have in some of the other ones. But it's not just one of the best RPGs I've ever played, but it's one of the best games I've ever played. I think Cyberpunk is incredibly special, and I think just the events around that game were very unfortunate when it came out. Um, they put it out on hardware that couldn't support it very well. If they had just put it out on PC and released it, a couple years later for PS5 and Xbox Series X or whatever, um, I think the conversation around it would be a little bit different. But it's definitely better now in the state that it's in, and I would recommend it wholeheartedly. But I'm glad that I eventually went back to it, and that's it for me.
All right. It has officially become on my list. It is one of those things where I gotta find the right price, and more than willing to pick it up.
I think when I got it, um, it was maybe $10, which is it blows my mind. It just absolutely blows my mind. But the automatic upgrade really helps out with that too. So if you find it cheap on PS4, you can just download the PS5 version.
All right, I'll have to give it a shot. Okay, so the next award is best story, and that's also going to Final Fantasy 16. Um, absolutely. I want to explain one of the things that I think video games has a problem with, and then I want to explain why Final Fantasy 16 does it so well. Like I feel like video games has a problem with the idea of the subtle main villain. The main villain has to be the most bombastic character in the entire story, and I understand where that comes from. Like, I am not a guy who hates Handsome Jack. I think Handsome Jack is an awesome villain. I love him, and like, I wish it wouldn't damage the story of Borderlands 2 for Handsome Jack to return in some way, shape, or form because I love him that much. But Ultima is this bad guy who's just he's like behind the scenes of everything that's happening in the game, but he never reveals himself. And like the reason that he does not is because he thinks that humans are so far below him that him taking a direct action against another human is beneath him to do. And that makes like that dynamic truly makes like it makes him feel like he is a god and that's what he's supposed to be. And I love every minute of every little coincidence story moment that like was tipped by Ultima, but you never saw Ultima do anything or say anything. He just made person A a little crazier than they should have been, or person B a little bit more desperate than they should have been, or person A is searching for power and he's like, well, I got some over here if you want it, but you got to do this and this. And like, he just, his like, the scales of Final Fantasy 16, Ultima's finger is on that scale the entire game, and you don't know it until you get to the end. But like, every little thing that happens is tipped by him. And it's beautiful. And but like the entirety of the story is Clive, main character, is I will stand and I will fight. And that's what I do. That's what I do. I stand and I fight. And then Ultima's goal in the entire thing is not to beat him in a fight, but is to make him lose hope in humanity. Clive is like the ultimate hope, this guy who just never gives in, but Ultima has all this power. Like if Ultima was just like, I want to kill Clive, he could have done it at any point in the story. But he doesn't. That's not the point. He wants Clive to give up. So he just uses this tiny bit of influence to push everything in the story to happen. So like Clive has the worst life in human existence just because every little thing he does, Ultima does, is to make Clive's life worse, to try and get him to give up. And then the whole story happens, and he, like, to see him come through it all is even better. There are some other parts that, like, if I wanted to go on another full podcast of talking about how great this game is, I could, but, like, to keep it short, when you find out how much of the story, how much of what you play in the game is indirectly caused by Ultima tipping the scales against Clive, once you get to that end point, you want Ultima dead so bad that like the last part of the game, you just you sail through it on pure anger at him, and it's perfect. Final Fantasy 16 rule, and you get best story because I was in the depths of your story for so long and I could not get out.
Because Stone Cold said so.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, dude. All right. The next game award, I should say Brettley Award. Why say Game Award?
Yeah, these are Brettleys. There was a TV show in here.
I guess I was thinking Video Game Award, but I guess that also too is literally the Video Game Awards. So the next category is the Out of Nowhere Award, and I'm going to give that to Liza P. Dude, if you had told me when it was announced that Lives of P would not just be like a game I played in 2023, but like one of my favorite games of 2023, dude, it was awesome. I was obsessed with it. I know we got cut off a little bit with the last episode when I was really getting into Liza P, but the point I was going to make was it's a great Mega Man style game, and I think that's when I started kind of making that connection to it, like through the story of P being the son of Geppetto. Like he was built by Geppetto, but him being the sort of like reincarnation a little bit of what his son was. Kind of gave me like Mega Man Dr. Light vibes. And then the difficulty of the game, obviously, like not being overly impossible, but like just difficult enough to where it's going to give you a pretty awesome challenge if you're not ready for it. But it is 1,000% fair. That's exactly how I view Mega Man. But obviously, the biggest comparison on the surface is going to be Bloodborne. Themes and style of the game, that kind of stuff. I mean, there's definitely Bloodborne vibes, but I think that Lies of P, the way that it weaves those sort of like design choices um, from the controls perspective and the way that weapons are handled, all that stuff. I think that the developers of Lies of P actually go beyond what Soulsborne quote unquote games can do. They have outclassed um, FromSoft in their very first video game, um, their first attempt at it. But it's amazing, dude. I tried a little bit on Xbox Game Pass when it was kind of free on that service. I think it still is, but I used it as more of like a rental to where I would buy it on my PlayStation, and the controller actually ended up being the biggest sort of boon for me. So I love the DualSense controller, but I ended up tearing my way through it. I beat it in about 50 hours, and that's not too shabby for something that was not even remotely on my radar when we first started the year. So the out of nowhere award goes to Liza P. And also, fuck the nameless puppet and fuck Hulk Hogan.
All right. Hulk Hogan apparently can suck it.
That's an Iron Sheik reference. Rest in peace, my friend. So, the Game Awards proper, the Brettleys those are the end of the traditional sort of categories. We're now going to get into our personal games of the year, and then we'll get into some honorable mentions, and then go into our overall game of the year. I would like Aaron to present his personal
All
game of the
right.
year.
If you've been watching this podcast, you probably know what my game of the year is.
Valid one.
It did not come out this year, but
Oh, well, still out of nowhere.
Persona 5. Because,
Whoa!
oh my god, like,
Twist, dude. I thought it was going to be Final Fantasy.
I mean, I loved Final Fantasy this year. If it wasn't Persona 5, it would have been Final Fantasy, but I need the space to talk about it for a second because
I feel swerved.
holy crap, Persona 5 just I don't know, it hit me out of nowhere so many times, and then it's got this weird little thing that's gonna keep it in my head for the rest of my life. So like my son was born last year, but like right at the end of last year. And I decided to, because, me and my wife were taking shifts on who was going to be up with him and who was going to be, sleeping. And, there was, his birth was complicated is what I will say for my wife. So like, I spent a lot of time staying up to like let her get rest and let her recover. And there was all kinds of things that went on with it. So I originally bought Persona 5 on my PlayStation, my PS4. And then Brett told me that I shouldn't play the original Persona 5. I should just get Persona 5 Royal because, it's almost a different game. It's got new characters. It's not worth it to not play Persona 5 Royal. And I was like, okay, because I always listen to my Brett when he tells me something about a game, like always. So I took
Aw.
my Persona 4 that off my PS4, and I was like, because I've also got baby to deal with, it'll be easier if I play on my Switch. So I waited for the Switch version to come out, and then I bought it on Switch, which if I remember correctly, the Switch version came out like 2020, like October or something like that. So
No, I think it was just I think it's just the PS4 version because it was exclusive PlayStation for a while. The only Persona that Switch got, I thought, for a while was Strikers. I'm pretty sure Switch and Xbox came out at the same time, and that's just recently. Let me fact check.
uh,
You can keep going if you want.
yeah, fact check me. But So I bought the Switch version and I started playing it. So
Oh no, you're
my
right.
my nightly routine was, because I am the person who could handle waking up early, and Andrea was the person who could stay up late. So I would go to bed at like 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock I would sit in bed for like 2 hours and just play Persona 5 until I was getting ready to go to sleep. And I'd go to sleep and I'd have to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something to like go take care of Lee, and then I'd be up until 8 o'clock. So I was walking around all day playing Persona 5, and then we finally got to the point where, what's up, baby?
And pale my mate. It mommy said the pale everything with child pale my face and a lots of mess on my tongue.
You got milk on your tongue?
I think she threw up in her mouth and swallowed it.
Oh. Are you okay?
Well, I could cup my apple.
You coughed into your elbow? Very smart.
Huh? We're at the playground.
You want to go play?
Out, baby. I don't think we can go to the
Yeah, it's snowy out. You might go in the backyard and play in the snow. Hi, Lily, baby. I was just talking about you.
October 21st, 2022.
That's what I thought. All right. We've got like 10 more minutes.
I can eat my food. Mommy, wait.
Okay. We finished up lunch already.
Okay.
I need to take a bath.
Yep, 10 more minutes. And then you can go get all sudsy.
Okay. Come on, babies. Daddy's on the phone with his friend. Come on.
Go with Mama. I'll see you in a bit.
Daddy's talking to Uncle Brett. Come on.
Are you doing it?
Uncle Brett.
Yeah, I'm talking to Uncle Brett.
That's Uncle Brett.
All right, girl. Let's go.
Did you hear her?
I did, and it's
You okay?
flipping adorable.
You need some water?
Okay, so I literally played Persona 5 for an entire year. Like, I started playing Persona 5, like, I put it on my list as like October or December 8th, and then I finished it like December 18th last year. So I played it for an entire year. And never in my life have I finished a game, watched the credits roll, and then instantly started the New Game Plus, and then just started tearing through the New Game Plus. I got pretty close. I got pretty close to getting every persona in the game. I got every single character. I maxed out their confidant level. I maxed out every single confidant in the game. I got almost every piece of armor in the game, and 2 playthroughs, and I'm over 350 hours. Like, I would give this award to Final Fantasy 16, but 350 hours in one game in 1 year, I have to put it at the top of this list. I have to. Persona 5 has the best soundtrack of any game I have ever played. I will period and exclamation point that. I hear Rivers in the Desert and Last Chance in my sleep.
That's awesome.
Like, the game, like, sitting down, I've gotten to the point now where I listen to musicians analyze Persona 5 music because I want to understand why I liked it so much. Like,
that's awesome.
I am both terrified and excited that there are already rumors about Persona 6. Like, I want to play it, but like I don't know how I'll react to another Persona game
when I spent so much time playing Persona 5. I bought Persona 5 Strikers already, and the second that Tactica is any type of sale, I will pick it up regardless. I When I was playing Street Fighter 6, when I was finishing the story mode, Persona 5 Strikers finished downloading and like the little pop up came up on my screen that said it was finished, and like I was in the middle of a Street Fighter fight and I almost like started it. I was so like my finger was like my little cursor was like I was like, no, I need to give Persona 5 a break. I need to take some time between playing all these games. I can't if I play them all back to get back, then Persona 5 is over forever. Like just wait, give yourself some time before you play this. But I was tempted for like an entire week to just like start it up and play it, just because I wanted to get into it and play it again.
That's awesome.
Persona 5 is my game of the year.
I was playing Persona music at the bank the other day before I went on vacation. It's like when our music goes out, I'll usually pay stuff off of Apple Music, and I've got Last Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just, I guarantee you, most of those people have never heard that before, but it's pretty fun. What is this? All right, I know we're kind of crunch for time here and stuff, so we're gonna bang these out real quick.
Yep, go right ahead, man.
My personal game of the year is Resident Evil 4. And I think that it was close, dude. It was this was definitely a Brett game year. Final Fantasy, Alan Wake, Resident Evil. It doesn't get Dead Space got a remake. Like it's nuts. The amount of stuff that's been out. There's a new Star Wars game, new Sonic. But Resident Evil is my favorite series, dude. And I don't think that I played any game as much as I did Resident Evil. I put more time into Final Fantasy, but over my 5 hours or so, I beat Resident Evil 4 over 12 times. I earned the Platinum Trophy. I just the DLC is great. Like the game is great. I don't think, other than Resident Evil 2, I don't think that there's been a better remake. Just Resident Evil 4 is it, dude. And Leon S. Kennedy is him. Great dude.
Right.
Great game. So we've got some honorable mentions. It's been a great year. Aaron, I know you've got a few.
Yep. My honorable mentions go to Super Mario Wonder. Super Mario Wonder was the best way I can describe the way me and Andrea indulged in it was soul food. It was just Mario doing Mario stuff. Me and Andrea, my wife, is like one of those like savants at Super Mario World. So it gave us that Super Mario World feel, that new Super Mario U feel. That's just like it's just Mario. I mean, they did give us a little extra flair with the Wonder Seeds, but like the Wonder Seeds kind of just like slap a new coat of paint on Mario, which I don't hate the new coat of paint, but like it's still just Mario. And sometimes I can just sit down and just veg out on some Mario, and that's exactly what I did. It's exactly what I wanted from this game, and it gave it to me. So there was that. Tales of Arise, which I love the Tales series. I've been a fan of it since Tales of Destiny. But
Man.
I feel like that series kind of just it knows what it wants to be, and it just delivers. It's like it's not a big deal. It's just that's what the game is supposed to feel like. So then my last one would be I want to talk about. I had it in my head and now I just lost it. There's one more game I want to talk about. I'm just gonna go ahead and go, and then I'll remember what that game was.
Okay. I'm going to bang these out real quick, but Dead Space, another great remake. I'm in the middle of it again right now, and it's so good. Alan Wake 2, the sequel that I never thought I'd get, just delivered on every square inch of that game. Sonic Superstars, probably not a popular choice, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I ended up getting the platinum. Definitely some of the most bullshit bosses I've ever been up against in my life. I, that last Robotnik fight, man, and the entirety of Trip's story are just, but man, great game otherwise. Sea of Stars. I'm really digging the kind of throwbacks to stuff like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy. Um, oh gosh, which one was I going to compare that to? Maybe not Final Fantasy. Um, but yeah, that it's just like Aaron said about soul food with Mario Wonder, like totally soul food for me. And then last but not least is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Um, I just a really fun sequel to Jedi Outcast, or not Jedi Outcast. What was the last one?
Jedi Survivor?
No, the first one.
No.
I can't remember what the name of the first one was. Jedi something. But Cal, I don't know, he's just fun character and stuff. And I'm not a big Disney Star Wars guy, but the Jedi games have been great. Like one of the bright spots of Disney's term with Star Wars. So those are my honorable mentions.
Okay. I finally remember what my last one was. And my last one was I wanted to give an honorable mention to the new levels in Mario Kart 8 because I've been playing the crap out of those and I am thoroughly enjoying just having new Mario Kart content, period. It's nice just to be able to pick up Mario Kart and play it again for any reason. So, Mario Kart 8, thank you.
Nobody wants to play me in that game.
Yeah, I'll play you now. We'll play on some of those new levels that you don't have memorized.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
I haven't touched a Switch in a long time. Yeah, I'll play. Nobody wants to play with me though, other than you.
Yeah, because you do time trials. And anybody who does time trials, I don't want to play against you.
Oh yeah, I did, dude. I got golds on all those time trials too. So, it's been a while. I think the last time I played Mario Kart, my nephews told me that all they had were Joy Cons, but you had to turn it on its side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they told me that just to make me lose at the game. But I still whipped all their asses. So
That's a nice gambit, though. I'd give them points for trying.
oh, dude, they tried to stake me so bad. They're like, oh yeah, we've got so many people over here, but nobody brought the controllers, eh? Like, okay, well, it's like, well, you got to play with it on the side. Yeah, no, not gonna get me like that. All right, so the overall Game of the Year award, the overall best game of 2024.
All right, let's see how in sync we are. Let's see if we can do it at the same time.
The winner of the Brettley is
Final Fantasy 16. Yay!
Together, it is Final Fantasy 32. That's not funny.
Final Fantasy 32. It is the VR version of Final Fantasy 16.
I mean, if you count Dirge of Cerberus and all those other things, maybe it is Final Fantasy 32. Who knows? But you got anything else you want to say about this?
What I will say is what I put down here, and is I love RPGs. I love JRPGs. I love turn-based JRPGs and action-based JRPGs. But Final Fantasy 16 truly feels like it is a step in JRPG's evolution. It doesn't seem like people treated it like it was some kind of oh, they're letting turn-based combat die, and oh, this isn't really Final Fantasy, but it feels like it is what the original creators were envisioning when they made the original games. Just they didn't have the technology to make it happen. Like it
Oh yeah,
feels the term cohesion. I've never felt a game that like felt like it was just what the director wanted to do more than Final Fantasy 16.
yeah, dude. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's one that you and I can agree on. We both have our individuals, favorite games of the year, that kind of stuff. But I think based off of the spoiler cast that we did on it, just how passionately you and I talked on it, and I really encourage people to go back and listen to that episode. Um, yeah,
Oh,
that's
we transform back into two 13-year-olds, and then we just gush about our favorite game, about like just how much we love it and how awesome it is. Like we're talking
yeah,
about Pokemon for the first time. Like it's
yeah, it's everything that I ever wanted Final Fantasy to be, and I started late with that series. I mean, I jumped in with I played 6 and 7, but my first Final Fantasy was 8, and it kind of just this just feels like where Final Fantasy should be in 2023, now 2024. Um, yeah, I really just highly encourage people to go back and listen to that episode. But the only thing that I could really add to that, and that's what I have written down here too, is just um, Final Fantasy 16 gets me so excited for what the future of Final Fantasy is, going into eventually 17, and now the Final Fantasy 7 remake and now Rebirth. Um, I don't think that Final Fantasy has ever or has been this bright since probably the PlayStation 1 era.
yeah.
Um,
I like I it's been a long time. It's going to happen twice next year, which I'm really excited about. But it's been a long time since I have like started mentally making space for a game to come out, and I am mentally making space for Final Fantasy 7
oh
Rebirth
yeah,
to come out. I've been clearing space since the year started. Like I've been pushing things back, and like you guys are, I gotta like make some room here because when Final Fantasy Remake comes out, I'm gonna be on it. I'm also doing that for Visions of Mana, but you know me, so.
yeah. I'll do the same thing for Visions Mana. Um, I'm waiting for I've got some time to kill this year. I carried a lot of vacation over from last year, which dude, I'm so pumped about. I'm going to take a long weekend for Rebirth.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely happening. So,
My
but
body is ready.
not to out to overshadow our winner, because Final Fantasy 16, I I got this same feeling in my gut when I played that demo for the first time, and I felt the vision of the game for the first time, because you know me, I don't do trailers, so I didn't know much about the game. Only thing I really knew was literally Clive's face. That was really the only thing I knew about it going in. And then I played that demo, and I was like, okay, gotta start putting some stuff aside here. Gotta start pushing some things around, because as soon as this game comes out, I'm gonna be on top of
Just like Tom Cruise had Renee Zellweger at Hello.
it.
The when Square said that they had the combat director for Devil May Cry on Final Fantasy, which is another one of my top 5 favorite video game franchises ever, they had me at Hello.
Yeah, we gotta get that Devil May Cry cast going, because I would love to spend some time talking about Devil May Cry.
Yeah, me too, man. It came up in conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. Just randomly, the part where Trish dies or like seems to have died game, and he yells and it like echoes and all that stuff. I had a pretty solid laugh about that specific part, and I don't know why. But yeah, we gotta talk some Devil May Cry. I'm in the mood. So well, with that, we conclude the what is it, 63rd annual Brettley's.
63rd annual
Um,
Brettley, sponsored by Cialis and the 1996 Chicago Bulls.
Specifically, Scottie Pippen.
Specifically, Scottie Pippen. If you want to come on the podcast, Scotty, just let us know. Hop in the Discord.
What you doing, friend?
That's the line in the Discord.
Yeah, dude. We'll play there's a second Chip and Dale Rescue game or Rescue Rangers game. I will post all of the mini reviews on that game.
Okay.
Yeah, when you wear the beads.
Are you there, Dom?
Yeah, Dom's here. Say hi, Dom. You gotta say hi loud.
Hi.
There we go.
Yeah. Hi, Dom. That's a great way to end Game Dads.
That's a perfect way to end Game Dads.
Yeah.
Women,
Well,
wham, wham, mazel. I love you all. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Tell them. I'm sorry, dude. Tell them Large Mars sent you. We'll see everybody soon, definitely. And yeah, take care, guys.
And Scottie Pippen specifically, hit us up in the Discord.
Yep.
All right.
We
see
love
ya.
you, Scotty.
We
See you, buddy.
Peace.
Bye. That was a good one.
Yes, I loved it. We
I
got. I can't
can-
wait for next year, man. I want to do another
Oh,
award
yeah,
show like
dude.
right
I'm gonna. We'll make another random number. Like somehow it'll jump like 12 years, like Interstellar. But yeah, dude, great show. I can definitely tell that I've had too much coffee because I've been like chomping at the bit to just keep talking.
now. That's
So-
all good, man.
Between the pregnant pauses and me talking over you, I apologize, dude.
It's all good. We'll
So-
I'll definitely do I got some editing to do because of the segment where Dom was screaming into the mic for a good 2 minutes, but I'll make sure this one sounds good. And I'm thinking about getting
Yeah.
a theme song. What do you think about that?
I'm down with the theme song. I'm even down for recording a theme song with lyrics with me and you.
Okay.
Your turn, buddy.
But we have to do it to like the beat and the sound of Steak Night by Turk and JD.